Hello and welcome to What the Tech from Boast AI, where we talk with some of the brilliant minds behind new and exciting tech initiatives to learn what it takes to tackle technological uncertainty and eventually change the world. I'm Paul Davenport, Boast resident tech journalist and head of content. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome to the show John Hunt, CPA and senior manager at General Ledger Partners, aka GLP. In his role, John and team provide detailed, efficient, and accurate bookkeeping and financial consulting services to small businesses. Based in Austin, Texas, John and his team actually partner with Boast to help their clients maximize their access to innovation tax credits to enhance their runway and build stronger products. So, for subscribers to the show, you may remember we last connected with John's colleague Jason Terry last year to chat through what it's like supporting innovative SMBs in 2024. Needless to say, a lot has changed between then and now, and I can't wait to pick John's brain on how doing business at any scale in the US has evolved over the past year. Now his team partners with Boast and what's on deck for the future. So without further ado, welcome to the show, John.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for the intro, and thanks for the invite today. I'm excited to get going.
Absolutely. I'm happy to have you. Forget if I told you at the start when we were chatting, we're actually relaunching the podcast. So I'm pumped that we can get some new voices on here for our season 2, technically. And you definitely bring a unique perspective. I know we talked to a lot of founders on the show. A lot of people are in the nitty gritty with tech, but I love that we can actually talk about funding US SMBs specifically, but also just strategy for businesses in general. Like, I think that is a huge open area that lots of folks need some advice on today. And again, you guys work with folks in real time. So before we dive into the nitty gritty, I'd love to know, tell me a bit about John. How did you get into the space? How did you get into GLP? And what's been your journey to date?
Yeah, so I started out as as they say, industry accounting, and I worked for software, kind of healthcare, IT companies back in the day. Probably for about 8 years out of college, I did that. Worked a little bit in Austin, worked a little bit in Dallas, and decided to get my CPA license back in 2017. So I got that, went back to grad school, and then I got into consulting spent about 6-7 years ago. I actually worked at a firm with our partners here at GLP. So I worked with Jason Terry and Jennifer Thomas at another firm before this. So we met each other, we knew each other. And yeah, they kind of spun off and started GLP, and then they were like, "Hey, come over here and work with us." So I made the move I guess I've been here for about 3 years now. So yeah.
Awesome. That's really cool, actually. I know I had mentioned at the top of the show that we have a lot of tech founders on here, but it's very similar scenario to what you've described that I've heard a lot of founders who found the most success lay out as their genesis story too. They met some good people at a job, and then they all got together and they're like, these are the people I really want to be bumping elbows with for the long haul. So let's go get our own thing going. And again, having met Jason, you're definitely in good company. You guys do great work, and everyone on our team is a huge fan. So I'd love to talk too about, well, actually first, what inspired you to go get that CPA? So I'm a journalism nerd, but my dad is a CPA. He's in accounting. Math, even though I work in finance, my eyes go a little cross-eyed. But what sparked your interest there and made a career out of this for you, John?
Yeah, honestly, just trying to level up. I felt that in my position, I think I was a senior accountant at the time at a healthcare company in Dallas, and I was like, I'd like to level up. I feel like I need to get my CPA license, so I just bit the bullet and started going to night classes and for grad school, and got enough hours and just started sitting for the CPA exams. Just felt like it was the right thing to do.
I like it. Yeah. And those are not easy. Again, my dad
They are not.
loved telling me about all the late nights and all the hours. And he's like, oh, raising kids and getting my CPA, any lawyer, he can screw. But I digress. So, and again, you had mentioned you were in industry accounting for about 8 years out of college. You worked in SaaS, software, healthcare. Are you still working with a lot of the same verticals that you had when you were cutting your teeth right out of school? Or how has that evolved now that you've worked as a consultant and then moved into GLP and launched your own venture here?
Yeah, we have a lot. I feel like the SaaS industry is really popular right now. So we have a lot of SaaS clients. I work with a lot of, I think probably, I'd say 70-80% of my clients are SaaS. But also being in consulting, it kind of opens the doors to other industries and other kind of business sizes as well. So I get a lot more different types of businesses and different types of industries. So it's nice to have that.
I like it. Yeah, and actually, that's really funny. We see that too. Obviously, again, you're one of our major partners in the US. So our ICP is pretty one to one in terms that it's heavily loaded on SaaS in the US. But similarly, in both sides of the border where we operate with the R&D tax credit specifically, it's been particularly lucrative for those software startups. And I know that legislation is coming online that's changing it. In the US, especially, it's broadening it for more of those like manufacturing clients and for more scale ups to actually tap into the R&D tax credits. And I know a lot of the pesky rules about amortization are getting lifted and modified. But I mean, I'd love to dive into how you've worked with Boast in supporting some of these startups and getting them the innovation funding from the government to build cool products and actually succeed as a business for the long haul.
Yeah, I've been working with I guess Boast for about 2 to 3 years now. Actually, Jason was the one that introduced me to you guys. Um, it seemed like a win-win, right? It's like it's good for the client because they get free money from the government, and it's good on our part because we really have like a minimal input there. Like we connect you guys to the financials and payroll, and like the Boast team, it just hops in and does most of it. So it's kind of hands off for us, and it's a win for the client. So yeah, I think we don't offer tax services, so Boast really complements us very well. We don't offer any kind of R&D studies or tax that side of the field, so complements very nice. Usually, our clients will do the payroll tax refund option, so it's like they just get few quarters later they get a check from the IRS, and that's that. I think it's great.
That's awesome to hear. And actually, that's exactly the story that we like to hear too, that it's pretty much hands off. And that once you start working with us, we're going to take that off your shoulders. Because again, your focus is more on the accounting, it's on the bookkeeping, it's making sure that their house is actually in order and operational. And it's not that R&D tax credits are a commodity, but for a lot of folks, they view it as a cherry on top of the sundae. You got to have the house in order, and then you can put this on as like, I'm abusing the analogy, but it's a nice to have, a lot of people think. But when you can maximize that and also not get bogged down in the nitty gritty of the application process, that's powerful funding. That's going to extend your innovation runway. That's going to make it so that, again, you can pay to actually bring some research and development in house, or again, other kind of processes of getting that done depending on what scale your business is at, whether it's freelancers or otherwise. It's money that you want, and it's money that you're leaving on the table if you don't go for it. And what we really love to emphasize, especially when we're working with CPAs and consultants like this, is that, again, we're going to make it easy. It's a lot of the time tracking that people are already doing. They're already documenting a lot of the stuff we need. Just dump all the data on us. We're going to ingest it. We're going to make a claim. And it's not even just about the data collection. It's that specific tax expertise that we come in and we complement, because you need that on top of everything else that you guys are doing, general ledger partners for all the clients that you work at. So love to hear that. And also, I know that Sylvia on my team and Ashley on my team, they sing your praises so, so much. Could you maybe talk about, I know we've done some like lunch and learns with you guys, but any like knowledge share that you've maybe tapped into with Boast, or any projects that Boast has helped you worked on that have been especially memorable since you've worked with us over the past couple of years?
Um, yeah, I mean, going back to Sylvie and the team, like that they're great, like super responsive and kind of help me out with different situations. You know, I'll say for like I guess if I ever have a question about how if a client situation how that would apply or kind of work out with the R&D tax credit, then I'll usually email Sylvia or kind of call her and just talk through it with her. No particular project in mind that comes up, but like
Yep.
just in general, the team is really good and really responsive and helpful with any questions I do have.
I love it. No, I'm happy to hear that. And I know that specifically too, we're thinking right now about the future. And I know that starting in 2026, it's going to be different even at the state level for how businesses can claim R&D tax credits in Texas. So just want to plug in that one note here for anybody who's local and might be listening to the podcast, because we talk a lot about those federal R&D tax credits, that Section 41 or navigating Section 174 and all the amendments that have happened just in the past couple months, and making sure that you can keep that straight. But even in Texas, they want to make it so that starting next year, you're going to have an opportunity to double down on your tax planning. And again, it's not overextending your resources. It's a lot of the documentation you're already doing as part of just your due diligence, being a good business owner. So just wanted to drop that into that as much of a resource as we've been to date, we're excited to be even more of a resource as more of these kind of state level funding programs become available. We can flex our muscles. And again, work with folks who are already working with the folks we like to make sure that we're not overextending the burden. And I just think that's some exciting updates that I want to share. So watch our blog to get all of that. But I'd love to hear from you, John. Just how has doing business evolved for the SaaS startups or for any of the small businesses that you work with in Texas or just in general over the past couple of years? I know it's been a lot of news, it's been a lot of changes at the legislative level, but how has that impacted the folks in your network?
Yeah, so I work with a lot of early stage kind of startup companies. So there's not a huge impact from these legislation changes that we're seeing in our companies. I think that's more felt on larger scale companies that have a large accumulation of capitalized R&D balances, right? But a lot of the companies I work with are kind of 2 or 3 years old. They don't have huge amounts of these balances on their balance sheet to be concerned about. So yeah, I don't really feel that impact directly, but I think that longer term for these guys, planning for the future, that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I love that. And again, just to kind of like gloss over some of the changes happening on the state level to the R&D tax program too. One thing that's pitched, they're not going to be dissimilar processes for applying for the state level and the federal level. So Boast's job actually just got a lot easier if anybody in your network is looking to claim the state level, because you can claim it seamlessly. It's already the same documentation. They're making it easier for you guys to get the money. It's also a higher credit rate. It's going to be bouncing up from 5% roughly today to about almost 8.72. That's just more cash. That is fantastic. So let's say an example, a company with $1 million, which is a lot in R&D expenses, they would see a 74 increase in tax benefits. It would go from about 50,000 to about 87,000, which is nothing to sneeze at. So I think those dollar signs are the big thing I want to throw out there. And then the final point is the elimination of sales tax exemption option. So again, the current system allows businesses to choose between a franchise tax credit or a sales tax exemption. This new one eliminates that choice. So again, you can maintain only the franchise tax credit, citing administrative difficulties that have been experienced under the current regime. So I was just reading from my blog right there to kind of add some of that context, but it's explaining to you how like some of these changes that have happened, you don't notice them at first, but when it comes to actually claiming the stuff or getting the money back or going through the processes with the different agencies, they're impactful for the folks who try to make it easy. So we're working hard to stay up with all the adjustments on our side to make sure that the clients in your network are getting everything they can and wringing these changes dry. So just wanted to talk about that a little bit too. Now, turning
Good
it
to
back
know.
on yeah, now turning it back on you, John. I'd love to know what's on deck for GLP. What are some exciting things that you guys are working on? Even if it's just business as usual, any like startups or any specific industries you guys want to emerge into, or what's on the roadmap?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is hot off the press. So, just recently, we're really excited about a brand refresh project we're going through right now. So GLP has been around for about 5 years now. Again, founded by the two people I mentioned earlier. So we've grown from those two people to about 13 people now over those 5 years. So we've had a lot of rapid growth. So we think now is a great time for this. Soon you'll see a new modern look to GLP. So we'll have a new logo, a new website, some new resources for the public. Also, we're kind of restructuring our offerings to better serve our clients. We believe that these changes will be more help us be more efficient and kind of enable us to be more aligned with our clients' needs. So we'll have an offering that is kind of focused on the nonprofit business side. We have a lot of nonprofit clients actually, and we have several team members that have a strong background in nonprofit with nonprofit businesses as well. And then the second is one that's kind of focused on financial services. So, like CFO advisory, kind of FP&A work, like, budgeting, forecasting, scenario modeling, or any kind of strategic advisory. So yeah, that's some updates from our side.
That is exciting. So just to recap again, you guys are getting a new modern look. You're going on some new rebranding. 5 years in, you got over a dozen team members here killing it. So high time you guys did that. I love to hear it. It's happening at the same time that we're rebranding our podcast. So a lot of simpatico with that one. And then again, expanding your specialties. So the nonprofit one, that's awesome. I just think that's great. And I know it's extremely complicated to just do that general. It's not opening up a standard SMB. That has a lot more hoops to jump through. And again, we know from working with you guys that you are the ones to help guide people through what could be a circus on that front. So that is exciting. And again, you got the specialty on your team now that you've expanded over the years. So good stuff. And then the FP&A, the CFO, the financial services consulting, that's killer. And again, I think it's more important than ever that you get that expertise. Don't try to wing it. Don't try to go it alone. Don't try to think, it's just paperwork. There's so much more nuance to that, especially when you're planning, especially with all the changes that are happening, especially if you're in a specialized industry too. So I think that that is awesome. And I'm so excited to hear that this is on the roadmap for GLP.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, John, that's actually all the questions I have for today. Was there anything else you want to shout out before I do a close up?
No, I think that like just working with Boast over the years, like you guys have been great and we appreciate everything you do. And again, it makes our life easier. It makes benefits our clients. So yeah, anybody looking for R&D tax study out there, then come to Boast. They're great.
Absolutely. And we're going to have links in the show notes so that folks connect with John and the GLP team. Again, they're expanding their services. They're getting a new brand look. They're killing it out there. And we're really proud to be your partners in all of this. And between the general accounting, the general bookkeeping, and then on our side, if you want to get nitty gritty with the taxes, it's a one-stop shop. We're all in it together to help you SMBs down there. So thank you so much, John. This was a total pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul.